Hi and a very welcome back to everyone. Today we are going to understand about the topic of vitamins. This falls under your unit of biochemistry, and this is an interesting topic, and you will actually understand that how a minor deficiency of these vitamins can lead to changes in your body, and why is vitamins important for us, right? So let us start first of all with the understanding of how vitamins were discovered, right? So basically the contribution for discovery of vitamins has been attributed to Sir Frederick Golland Hopkins and Eichmann, along with Casimir Funk, right? So actually Sir Frederick Golland Hopkins, he got Nobel Prize for the discovery of vitamins in 1929 along with Eichmann, right? So let us know that what experiment he did to identify to discover vitamins. So what experiment was done? Actually they gave rat all kind of major nutrients that were thought that these are major nutrients at that time. These are fats, carbohydrates, proteins and minerals. So at that time these were considered the major nutrients required, and so they gave a group of rats these nutrients to feed, to eat upon, right? So but it was observed that even though these rats were given all of these nutrients, they failed to grow. Means no growth was happening in these rats, right? So then it was discovered that they then gave milk, small quantity of milk to these rats, and they observed that the rats, they started growing, right? So even when all these nutrients were given, they were not growing, they failed to grow. But when a small quantity of milk was given, they started showing growth. Now hence it was proved that even in small amounts, this milk actually contains accessory growth factors, right? So accessory growth factors means that these are the major components required, but these components also need along with accessory factors which can help in growth, right? So these accessory factors are actually required in small amounts also, in small amounts, so that the growth of the organism can take place. So milk was thought to have particular accessory growth factors, and it was at that time discovered that these accessory growth factors were amines. So the very first accessory growth factor that was identified was amines, right? Amines. So in 1912 Funk gave the term from the Latin origin meaning named vitamine, right? So if we split the word into two, it means vita for life and amine for the reactive group, right? So the reactive group that was discovered was amine, and it was considered that this reactive group is vital, this accessory growth factor is vital for life, and hence it was named as white amine, right? White amine. But then later on it was found that there were many growth factors that were related to growth, and not all the growth factors were amine, right? So since all the growth factors were not amine, later on the E was removed to avoid the confusion. E was removed from vitamine, and this was named as vitamin, right? So today also some people call it as vitamin, some call it as vitamin, right? So but E was therefore removed because not all growth factors are amines. So to avoid the confusion, this was named as vitamin, right? So this is how vitamins were discovered, and which led to more discoveries of all kinds of vitamins that are present, right? So I hope that how vitamin was discovered is now clear with you, and now we move towards understanding now that what is vitamins. So from the experiment now you can understand that vitamins are organic compounds that are required even in small amounts by the body to perform one or more essential metabolic function. So there are many processes, there are many metabolic functions happening in our body, and for that we not only require all the major nutrients like fats, proteins and all, but we also require some nutrients in very small amounts. So vitamin is such an organic compound which though in small amount is very important for us, for our body to work, and therefore this is a must in our diet, and if we do not have it in our diet we are going to have deficiency. So this is required to be provided to the body mainly from dietary sources. So we require it from all the food that we eat. Whatever food we eat, from that we get vitamins. So the food are actually our dietary sources. And why do we need it from dietary sources? Because our human body cannot manufacture these vitamins just like that, right? So first it has to be obtained from our food, and from that food the vitamins will be obtained and the vitamins will be synthesized, right? So it is only obtained from dietary sources. So what we eat affects what kind of vitamin we get in what quantity, right? So these vitamins are also called regulators because these actually regulate and coordinate the metabolic activities. See, vitamins are very important because they are actually not involved in the reaction, but they regulate and coordinate the reaction. Without them the reaction would not proceed properly. So we need to understand that the carbs, proteins and fats that we talk about always, these are the products that are broken down to get energy, right? So many processes, there are many reactions by which we break down these products, right? So these are actually compounds utilized in the reactions. So in any reaction these are the main compounds that are utilized, but the reaction that we are talking about is regulated by vitamins, right? So though these are the main compounds, but the regulation is mainly done by vitamins, right? Vitamins are not the compounds that are actually utilized in the reaction, but these regulate the reaction, and therefore these are very important, and therefore vitamins are not placed in the category of carbs, proteins and fats. So vitamins are therefore called regulators because they regulate any reaction which involve carbs, proteins and fats, right? So I hope now that what are vitamins is clear with you. Now let us move towards the classification of vitamins. So vitamins are basically classified into two categories, right? These are called lipid soluble or fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins, right? So by the name itself you can understand that this is a vitamin that can dissolve in fat, right? That is soluble in fat, and these are vitamins that are soluble in water, right? So basically when the discovery of vitamins were done, the name is actually given based upon the compound upon the material from which it was obtained, right? So we know that what is milk cream. Often the fresh cream or the malai that we use, right, that is the milk cream, and that is so much rich in fat, and from that actually these vitamins were identified, and therefore this was given the term fat soluble vitamins, because this substance, the milk cream, is rich in fats, right? And since it is high in fat, so it was named as fat soluble vitamins or lipid soluble vitamins. Now this water soluble vitamins was actually obtained from whey of milk. Now what is whey actually? If you have ever known about or seen the process of making paneer from milk, then you will know that when you can even do this at your home. In milk you can add 2-3 drops of what we say, lemon, right? Lemon drops you can add, so immediately the milk will lead towards the formation of paneer, and you will identify that this portion is totally separated from this kind of watery substance. So this watery substance that we actually obtained is whey, and this is very much low in fat, and some vitamins has been obtained from this, and therefore these were named as water soluble vitamins. As you can see, the consistency itself also, whey is so watery and milk cream is so fatty, right? So this is just how these were named, because this was obtained from whey like material, and this was obtained from milk cream. So and this is low in fat, whereas this is high in fat. Now the vitamins that are named under lipid soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K. So the main lipid soluble vitamins are vitamin A, D, E and K. And the water soluble vitamins are the vitamin B groups and the vitamin C, right? So this lipid soluble vitamin have only 4 types, but though you can see that water soluble vitamin have been placed under 2 groups, but this vitamin B group is itself a very large group of vitamins, which we are going to understand in a bit more detail. So basically we will understand these vitamins in terms of their functions. So once you know that what are the functions of these vitamins, you can easily identify its deficiency, because if you know, for example, that a vitamin functions in eye vision, then you will know that what will be its deficiency. It will be something related to deficiency in eye vision, and then later on if deficiency proceeds, then this can lead to blindness, right? So if you know the functions, then you can easily yourself identify that what is the deficiency. Then since there is deficiency, you need to know about the sources of these vitamins, because to come out of this deficiency, we need sources, we need dietary sources, we need to take that to curb this deficiency so that the body can function properly. So we will understand about the sources of these vitamins, and as we know the sources, then we also need to know that what is the daily dietary requirement of each of these vitamins, so that we can know that daily what amount of vitamin do our body need, right? So we are going to understand each of these vitamin in this 4 subtopics, right? So let us first of all start with the understanding of lipid soluble or fat soluble vitamins. Right, so the very first vitamin that we are going to understand about is vitamin A. Right, so there are many functions attributed to vitamin A. These are growth of bones, synthesis of hormones, maintenance of epithelial tissue, and many functions like that. So vitamin A are associated with growth of bones. We know that bones are very important for our body, and therefore vitamin A thus becomes very important, and it is associated with synthesis of hormones. So we know that there are many hormones working in our body for the proper functioning of the body. For example, there are male and female hormones also. So all of these syntheses are attributed to vitamin A. Then maintenance of epithelial tissue is also associated with vitamin A availability. So epithelial tissue is actually the covering of all body surfaces. So the covering of our body is actually comprises of epithelial tissue, and therefore this becomes again important for us. And it also has role in normal functioning of nervous tissue and vision. So this is a very important function where it works in eye vision. So if you do not get a proper quantity of vitamin A, then your eye vision can be lost. Right, so these are some of the functions of vitamin A. Now vitamin A are mainly two types. These are retinol and carotenoids. Right, so retinol is actually preformed vitamin A. That is this is a ready vitamin A. The body do not have to synthesize it. Actually, this is already a preformed vitamin A. And carotenoids is provitamin A. Provitamin A means this carotenoids can lead to the formation of vitamin A. That is, carotenoids act as precursors to formation of vitamin A, and therefore these are named as provitamin A. That is the compound that will lead to the formation of vitamin A. But retinol is actually already preformed vitamin A, so there is no need of any further formation. So these are the two active forms of vitamin A, and retinol is found in the animal products like animal liver, whole milk, and some of the fortified foods. And carotenoids are found in plant food. So when you take a plant food, you will get provitamin A, which will then get converted to vitamin A. But when you take animal products, you will get directly retinol, and this is already an active form of vitamin A, which is already a formed vitamin A. Right, so in here I have mentioned fortified food. Fortified food are food which in that food all the vitamins and minerals are added. So for example, there is already in the market a product of fortified atta. Right, so that is your wheat flour that is fortified with required amount of minerals and vitamins, so that even if you are not taking vitamins, then this fortified food will help you with the needed vitamins in the body. So nowadays there are many fortified foods available which have vitamins and minerals present. Right, so these are the two forms of vitamin A. These are retinol and carotenoids. Now also there are more than 500 known carotenoids present so far. So there are many plant products that can give you carotenoids. So there are 500 known carotenoids, and one such carotenoid example is beta carotene. Right, so beta carotene is a carotenoid, and beta carotene is therefore a provitamin A. This beta carotene is precursor for the formation of vitamin A. Right, now the daily requirement of vitamin A is 3000 mcg of beta carotene or 750 mcg of retinol. So as I told that there are two active forms. So this 3000 mcg of beta carotene is kind of unit used for the measurement of vitamin A. So you need to at least take 3000 mcg of beta carotene. Now those who do not know what is mcg, mcg is microgram, and whenever we use the term mg, it is milligram. So you need to know that 1 milligram is 1000 mcg. 1 milligram is 1000 microgram. So when I say 3000 mcg, then at that time I mean that it is 3 mg or 3 milligram. Right, so you need to have 3000 mcg of beta carotene or 750 mcg of retinol. Right, and the unit usually used for the measurement of vitamin A is retinol equivalent or RE. So this is the standard unit used to show the measure of vitamin A, that what amount of vitamin A you should be taking. Right, so retinol equivalent or RE is a kind of unit used worldwide. Right, and this is the normal requirement, but during pregnancy and during lactation period, the requirement of vitamin A goes high. So when there is pregnancy, since since the mother carries a baby, always the requirement of nutrients increases, and therefore during pregnancy and lactation the requirement of vitamin A increases in comparison to the normal amount of vitamin A. Right, so now let us understand what could happen if you have a deficiency of vitamin A, and what could happen if you take excess of vitamin A. So the effect can be both way. One could be that if you do not take the vitamin, that you will have deficiency, and if you take so much of vitamin, that it will also lead to some kinds of effects. So deficiency and excess both can lead to damaging effects. So there could be primary deficiency of vitamin A that could happen due to insufficient dietary intake. So primary deficiency is due to when you are not taking enough diet that can give you vitamin A, and secondary deficiency can take place when there is precipitate on account of its faulty absorption. Now see, what is faulty absorption? It is a kind of malabsorption, that is when an organ that is associated with absorption of vitamins is not able to absorb the vitamin, and the organ is having trouble in absorbing that vitamin. So then it is called faulty absorption. So what will happen, since it is not getting absorbed, the vitamin will maybe precipitate or may get deposited in solid form here and there, and this can cause problems. Right, so vitamins are always absorbed by the body, and when that absorption does not take place properly, this can lead to solid deposition of these substances, and these will actually have harmful effect. Right, so this is secondary deficiency. Now the primary symptoms of vitamin A is night blindness or nyctalopia. So we know that what is night blindness. It is the loss of vision, or when you can see very less during night. So sometimes when you go in traffic, you are not able to see properly, or at night you cannot have a proper vision, then this is called night blindness. Then another primary symptom is hardening and keratinization of eye tissue. So we know that our eye tissue is a very important part of our body, and because of since it is, and we know it is a very soft tissue, so if that tissue will start having hard keratinization, hard tissue deposition, then we know that this is going to harm our eye, right? So the deficiency of vitamin A can lead to hardening of your eye tissue, and this ultimately leads to permanent blindness. Then there could be xerosis or drying out of eye tissue. Now we know that our eye is having a kind of fluid, and that fluid keeps our eye really moist, right? So xerosis is when you do not have that eye fluid, or that eye fluid is lost, then that will lead to drying out of eye tissue, right? So these are the primary symptoms. Now there are other symptoms also associated with vitamin A deficiency. These are changes in nerves and bones. As I told that we just saw that what are the functions of vitamin A. We saw that it functions in formation of bones, right? So if there is deficiency, this can lead to changes in your bones. You may have bone problems. We also saw that it functions in proper maintenance of epithelial tissue. So if you have that deficiency of vitamin A, this can lead to changes in epithelial tissue, and when your epithelial tissue is your body covering, so the body covering when gets damaged, this can also lead to problems. So when there is changes in epithelial tissue, there could be disturbances in digestive, urinogenital and respiratory systems too. So all of these are related. And there could be keratinization around hair follicles, right? We know that there is hair present in our body, so sometimes these the follicles around hair will keratinize, will become hard, and your skin will become like a toad skin. What is toad? Toad is frog, right? So we know how the skin of a frog is, and therefore the skin will become like toad skin, like the skin of a frog, if you have a vitamin deficiency. And this disease is actually called toad disease, toad skin disease, where the skin becomes like a toad's skin, right? So these are the symptoms of vitamin A deficiency. And now let us understand the sources of vitamin A. So as I told, we can obtain these from plants rich in carotenoid content. So these are all your bright colored vegetables and fruits that you know. So this could be all your carrots, the green vegetables, the squashes, the papayas and tomatoes, all the bright colored vegetables that you know, even the even all the kind of chilies, right? These can also the capsicum, red capsicum, yellow capsicum, all can give you vitamin A, right? So as I told, beta carotene is the precursor of vitamin A. That is, beta carotene leads to formation of vitamin A, and therefore it is called precursor, and therefore this is also known as provitamin A, because this is not actually vitamin A, but this can lead to the formation of vitamin A, and therefore this is called as provitamin A. So all of these bright colored vegetables, they have beta carotene, which is provitamin A. Now some sources of preformed vitamin A, as I told you, obtain it from animal sources. This could be milk, eggs, meat and fish, right? So all of these animal products can give you vitamin A. So with this we come to the end of vitamin A. Now we move towards the understanding of vitamin D. Now this vitamin D is a very interesting vitamin. This is also called sunshine vitamin, because you obtain this vitamin from sunlight only, right? So therefore this is called sunshine vitamin. So the functions that has been attributed to vitamin D is bone formation. It also controls absorption of calcium and phosphorus from digestive tract. Right, so calcium is a very important mineral that we need for proper functioning of bone. Similarly, phosphorus is also required. So this vitamin D absorbs calcium and phosphorus, controls the function. Mainly there are two types of vitamin. These are vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. Right, so vitamin D2 is called ergocalciferol and vitamin D3 is called cholecalciferol. Right, but mostly vitamin D3 is the most effective kind of vitamin D, which gives us an active form of vitamin D, and most of the doctors will also recommend you vitamin D3 rather than vitamin D2. Right, so but we need to understand that vitamin D is strictly not a vitamin. Actually this has been kept in vitamin, but these are not vitamin C because we cannot obtain it properly from dietary sources. As we just saw before, that vitamins has to be obtained from dietary sources because human body cannot synthesize it. But in this case, in vitamin D, we cannot obtain it from dietary sources, and therefore this is strictly not a vitamin. It is a precursor of one of the hormones. So vitamin D is actually precursor of some hormones that helps in regulation of calcium homeostasis. Right, so what is calcium homeostasis? It is the maintenance of constant concentration of calcium ions. Our body needs calcium ions in certain concentrations, so it is very important that the concentration of those calcium ions is maintained, and therefore the vitamin D helps in this calcium homeostasis, and it also helps in regulation of cell proliferation and differentiation. So we know that our cells, they have to keep on growing and have to differentiate into various kinds of cells that perform different functions, and therefore it is helpful in regulation of cell proliferation and differentiation. Now let us understand that how vitamin D3 is synthesized. As I told that vitamin 3 is actually synthesized when we are exposed to sunlight. Right, so what happens when sunlight falls on our skin, whichever part of your body is bare, like your hands or legs, right, that part when exposed to sunlight, that specifically UVB radiation, right, when your body gets exposed to UVB radiation of sunlight, then what happens is that your skin actually has 7-dehydrocholesterol. This is a compound that is present in your skin. As soon as you receive the sunlight, as soon as you receive the UVB radiation, this 7-dehydrocholesterol will get converted to cholecalciferol, which is vitamin D3. Right, so this 7-dehydrocholesterol is already present in your skin. So as soon as you get the sunlight, the UVB radiation, this compound will get converted to cholecalciferol or vitamin D3. And then this compound actually has to get hydroxylated. So hydroxylation will take place. Now hydroxylation is introduction of OH group in any organic compound. So when OH group gets added to any organic compound, then it is called hydroxylation. So an OH group has to get added to this compound. So hydroxylation will take place in liver. Right, so this compound will move in liver, and in liver this will get converted to cholecalciferol, will get converted to 25-OH vitamin D3. Now you can see that OH group is added. So this is hydroxylation. So 25OH vitamin D3 will be formed. This compound is also called calcifediol or calcidiol, right? So, and this is a very important vitamin D3 because this is used to measure vitamin D level in the patient's body. So when a patient has some kind of deficiency or goes with some problem to doctor, the vitamin D level is measured in terms of the amount of 25OH vitamin D3. So how much 25OH vitamin D3 is present in a person's body determines the level of vitamin D3, because this is the vitamin D3 which actually is circulating in your body, and later on this 25OH vitamin D3 moves in kidney, where it gets converted to 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3. So here two OH groups are added. Now there are two OH groups and therefore it is called dihydroxy vitamin D3. And this compound is called calcitriol, and this is the biologically active form of vitamin D3. Now this can perform its function of bone formation and all, right? So this is how vitamin D3 gets synthesized when your body gets exposed to sunlight. The 7-dehydrocholesterol in your skin gets converted to cholecalciferol or vitamin D3, which then gets hydroxylated in liver and gets converted to 25OH vitamin D3, which is also called calcifediol and calcidiol, and this is used to measure the vitamin D level in any person's body. And then from this liver, this another compound is formed in kidney, which is called 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3. Again hydroxylation takes place and one OH group is again added, and this compound is called calcitriol, which is the biologically active form of vitamin D3. Now see, this is kind of use of sunlight to synthesize a chemical. So what is happening, that our body is using sunlight to synthesize a chemical. So this is something like photosynthesis, though obviously this is not a photosynthesis, but this is a different vitamin which only works when you get sunlight. Like plants only can perform photosynthesis when it gets sunlight. So this is how vitamin D3 are synthesized. Now vitamin D deficiency can lead to rickets in children's, and this can lead to osteomalacia in adults. So rickets is basically this deficiency that you see. This is the normal bones, but when a person has rickets, then you can see that the bones become bow-like. So this is called bow-leggedness, right? And also you can have knock knees. Then this is also rickets, the deficiency of vitamin D. But this is rickets is seen in children. Similarly, there is osteomalacia, which is seen in adult. Similar kind of conditions when happens in adults is called osteomalacia. So in adults, they were not having these conditions from their childhood, but it later on developed, and this was named as osteomalacia, right? Osteo is a term always used for bones, so this is osteomalacia. And also there could be excess, when you take anything in excess, that can also lead to problems. So there could be irritability, nausea, vomiting and constipation, and there could be hypercalcemia. Now if you remember, we saw in the functions that vitamin D leads to the formation of calcium, right? So when you take enough or excess vitamin D, that can lead to hypercalcemia. What is hypercalcemia? It is the higher calcium level in blood. So since you are taking more vitamin D, your body is synthesizing more calcium, and this can then lead to calcinosis. So calcinosis is formation of calcium deposits in soft tissue. So since your body is synthesizing more calcium, so where will this calcium go? This calcium will get deposited here and there in your body, and that disease is called calcinosis, right? So it is just like when you take more fats, when you eat more foods that have fat, then where will that fat go? That fat will deposit in your body here and there, right? So this is same way, when you take anything in excess, it will get deposited here and there and it will cause harm to your body. So this is calcinosis. Since there is more calcium level in blood, where is this calcium going to deposit? It will deposit in your soft tissues. Now the sources of vitamin D deficiency, as I told, is mainly the sources of vitamin D is mainly sunlight, as known as sunshine vitamin, and you can obtain it from some of the animal sources like fish liver, though this won't be that enough, but sunlight is the major source of vitamin D. But by far there are no plant product that are known to supply vitamin D. So no plant product can actually supply vitamin D. So people who do not take non-veg, people who do not take animal products can have a deficiency of vitamin D. Though vitamin D is not present in all animal products, but it is if those people who at least take some animal product may have vitamin D, but sunlight is the major source. So if you take daily sunlight for say some minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, it would be more than enough for your body to get vitamin D. And the recommended dietary intake is 15 mcg to 20 mcg, that is 15 microgram to 20 microgram. Now the next vitamin, the fat soluble vitamin, is vitamin K. So K word actually comes from coagulation, German for coagulation, right? So this is obtained from its function in coagulation. So for that you need to know that what is coagulation. Coagulation is the ability of blood to clot, right? And so now you need to know that what is blood clotting. Blood clot is a clump of blood that has changed from a liquid to a gel-like or semi-solid state. So what is blood clot? Blood clot is when your blood, which is actually liquid, it takes the formation of gel-like or semi-solid state, then we call it a blood clot. And ideally speaking, blood clot is actually important for you, especially when you have injuries, right? So what happens that when you have injury, your blood starts flowing out. So but after some times, it by itself the blood will not flow, and a clot will be formed. So that is formed so that you do not lose more of your blood, and this is very important property needed for any kind of injury, because when you have injury, when you have cut and the blood keeps on flowing, then this is going to cause harm to your body. So ideally speaking, blood clot is good, but in some cases for no good reasons you can also have blood clot in your body. So we can understand blood clot with this example. Normally the blood, these are the red blood cells, the red ones. So normally in the arteries the blood flows like this separately, the RBC are present, but when you will form, sometimes in your arteries you will form this kind of big blood clots, and these clots can actually choke your body, choke your arteries, and the flow can be hindered, right? So blood clots can sometimes be harmful, but vitamin K is responsible for coagulation, for the ability to blood clot, which is very important for us during injuries, right? So these are group of yellow crystalline compounds belonging to quinone families. So quinone family are basically the aromatic compounds that are present, and these compounds, the vitamin K is resistant to heat, air and moisture, but these can be degraded with strong acids, alkalis and light. So if you give strong acids and alkalis or light, then these compounds can degrade, otherwise these are resistant to heat, air and moisture. Now there are two forms of vitamin K, vitamin K1 and vitamin K2. Vitamin K1 is called phyloquinone and vitamin K2 is called menaquinone. So what actually vitamin K does is the production of enzyme thrombin. So what this enzyme does, when a blood clot has to take place, this enzyme gets converted to fibrinogen and fibrin, and this leads to formation of a blood clot. So when you have an injury, this enzyme, the thrombin, will get converted to fibrinogen and fibrin, that will lead to the formation of blood clot, and this thrombin is actually formed because of vitamin K. Right? Therefore vitamin K is very important in the formation of blood clot. The functions are that essential cofactor in process of clotting. So as I told that it is a very important factor in clotting. These are vitamin K are found in very good quantity in green vegetables. So if you take daily green vegetables, then you are going to have vitamin K. The recommended dietary allowance is 70 to 140 mg. Now say 70 to 140 mg means milligram, right? Because 70 to 140 mg is itself now if you try to put it into mcg, this number will come out big, right? So this is 70 to 140 mg of vitamin K. Now we move towards the next fat soluble vitamin. This is vitamin E. Vitamin E is also known as tocopherols. The function of vitamin E, that it is a well-known antioxidant and it prevents the oxidation of vitamin A and carotene. So vitamin E is a very well-known antioxidant. For that you need to understand that what is an antioxidant. An antioxidant is a substance that inhibits oxidation, right? So any substance that can stop the process of oxidation is called antioxidant. Now you need to know that what is oxidation. Oxidation is a process where a substance loses its electron. When there is loss of electron, then it is called oxidation. And antioxidants are basically substances that remove potentially damaging oxidizing agent. So substances that can remove damaging oxidizing agents are called antioxidants. Now what is an oxidizing agent? Oxidizing agent is a substance that has the ability to oxidize other substance, in other words to accept their electrons. Let us not fall into trap of these words. Let us understand this with very simple example. See, for example, this that you see is an oxidizing agent. These small round structures in pair that you see are electrons. So electrons are you always like to be in pair, right? So now you see that this substance, this oxidizing agent, this substance is having one unpaired electron. Here it is not in pair, right? Now since it is not in pair, what will happen? That it will try to get electron from this substance, right? So this substance that you see is actually called free radical, because it is not having it is missing one electron, its one electron is unpaired, and this substance is highly reactive because since it is unpaired, it will not like, and it will try to get one electron from another substance. So what will happen now? This electron will be taken by this compound, and what will happen is that this substance will get its one electron. So you can view in this picture, right? Now this has donated its electron and this has accepted the electron. Now this is stable. But see, since this compound has given its electron, now this compound is unstable. It will have only one unpaired electron. So what this compound will do, it will take electron from the another compound beside it, and in this way it will get its 2 electron. Now this compound is unstable because it is having only one electron. So this compound will try to take electron from the next compound present, and hence this will lead to a chain reaction, right? So this is actually oxidation, and all of this unpaired electron the compound which is unpaired having unpaired electron is called oxidizing agent, because what is it doing? This substance is having the ability to oxidize other substance, in other words to accept their electrons. So this substance is an oxidizing agent. This substance is an oxidizing agent because it is accepting others' electrons, right? And in the meantime it is making the next substance oxidized. So this becomes unstable, so it obtains from the next substance, this becomes unstable, and then it obtains from the next substance, and like this chain reaction take place. This is called free radical formation, and this is a very this actually is important for our body to some extent, but there are many cases when you have damaging oxidizing agents, so this can lead to very much damage to your body. So what antioxidant will do now? Antioxidant, so this is an antioxidant. What this antioxidant will do? It will antioxidant will donate its electron to the unstable substance, the oxidizing agent. So now see what is happening, that this antioxidant is by itself donating an electron to the free radical. Now the free radical is stable. So now this chain reaction will not proceed because it is stable, so it is not going to take any of the electron, and the chain will get stopped. So now you will think, but now the antioxidant is unstable. But that is the point, that antioxidants are not highly reactive. Even though antioxidants will have only one unpaired electron, still they can be in balance, right? So as I told, free radicals always have one unpaired electron, is unstable and is highly reactive, and therefore free radical will start chain reaction. But antioxidant is one that donates electron to the free radical, right? Antioxidant donates electron to the free radical, and but even though it will have an unpaired electron, it will remain stable. It will not become unstable, it will not become reactive, and therefore it will stop the chain. So vitamin E therefore works as an antioxidant. So we all have came across terms like antioxidant is very important, eat food that have antioxidant, right? So this is the reason why we need to take antioxidants, why we need to have antioxidants. This free radical formation is mainly main reason why we all get aged, right? Why we have sometimes certain problems. So aging is important, but Therefore it is also said that if you take more antioxidants, then you will not your body will not show aging. That is the reason behind this, because see, there is no chain reaction going on. So antioxidant will actually the free radical will remain in that state only, and therefore the body will remain young, right? So this is the function of vitamin A. Sources: it can be easily found in the cheapest of the millet. So see, the good thing is that the vitamin E can be found in cheapest of the millets also, and since it is found in the cheapest of the millets, so deficiency is usually not observed, right? So this is it about the fat soluble vitamins. The vitamin A, D, E and K are the fat soluble vitamins. Now okay, one thing that is left is the dietary allowance, that is 15 mg per day for vitamin E. Now we move towards the understanding of water soluble vitamins. Now, as I told that there are two categories in water soluble vitamins. These are vitamin B complex and vitamin C, right? So we will first understand vitamin B complex. Now this is a big group of vitamins. Let us understand this, that what is vitamin B complex. So vitamin B complex is the single largest group of vitamin. So this is the largest group of vitamin that is known by far, and this actually functions as components of one or more coenzymes. So there are many vitamin that are named with B. There could be vitamin B1, B2, B3 and alike. So all of these are components of one or more coenzymes. That is okay, so you need to know that what is coenzyme. Coenzyme are the ones that enhance the action of an enzyme. So coenzyme is something that helps the enzyme. So there are many coenzymes that are present in our body, and these vitamin B complexes are the components of these coenzymes, and these are related to each other. Now see, this vitamin B complex, whatever vitamins are present in vitamin B complex are related to each other, and these actually work closely with each other in our body, and therefore it is very important to have all of the vitamins that are present in vitamin B complex, right? So the vitamin B complex that are known are vitamin B1, vitamin B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9 and B12. So maybe you can remember it like this, that B1, B2 and B3 are continuous, then there is no B4, and then there is B5, B6 and B7, and then there is no B8, right? Then there is B9, and then there is no 10 and 11, and then there is 12. Now see, why has this order taken place is because mainly the vitamins were named in sequential order only, that is in the order of their discovery. That is, B1 was discovered first, then B2, then B3, and like that there was B4 also. But what happened, that the compound that was identified as vitamin B4 was later on found to be not a vitamin, and therefore it was removed, and therefore you can see that after B3 B5 is coming. Same is happening after B7, that there was vitamin B8 also, but since at that time it was identified as a vitamin, but then later on it was found that B8 is not a vitamin, and therefore it was removed, and therefore you can see the discontinuity of this ordering. Otherwise these are identified, these are named as an in the order of its discovery, right? So you have to remember these vitamins in this way. Same is the case with the water soluble vitamin. there is vitamin A, there is vitamin D, E and K. So after E, K is coming, which means that there were also vitamins after E present, but those were removed later on because those were then at that time known as vitamin, but then later on it was found that those were not the vitamins and therefore they were removed, right? And this vitamin B1, sorry, all this vitamin B complex, we can put it in this one circular formation where each of these vitamin have their specific names also. So B1 is called as thiamine, B2 is called as riboflavin, B3 is called as niacin, B5 is called as pantothenic acid, B6 is called as pyridoxine, B7 is called as biotin, B9 is called as folate, folic acid or folacin, and B12 is called as cobalamins. Right, so you also have to remember the names of these B complex vitamins, right? And these are actually the compounds that are present. When I say B1, it means that it is thiamine. Thiamine is the compound that is present in your body, and this is named as B1 because this was discovered first. Similarly, riboflavin is the compound that is present in your body when you get the dietary intake, and this is named as B2 because this was discovered after B1. Right, so these are the name of the compounds actually. And now we move towards the understanding of each of this vitamin in a bit more detail. So let us first move towards vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 is also called thiamine. So what happened that in 19th century steam powered rice mill was introduced. Now we know what is rice mill. Rice mill is a place where processing of rice takes place, right? So in the ancient times the rice that was eaten was with the husk, with its covering, but as the steam powered rice mill was introduced, there was widespread consumption of polished rice. So we all are also eating polished rice. So what is polished rice? It is the white rice that is without husk. Since these are the white rice, it is not having any husk, so the discarded polishing, the discarded husk has thiamine, right? So the husk that was discarded was actually having thiamine or B1, and this led to the development of a disease which is called as beriberi. So this is beriberi. These are some of the symptoms of beriberi. This is central nervous system disorder. So there is confusion in the body, there is inability to speak, there is the wrist will drop, right? There will be no strength in the wrist. There is emaciation. Emaciation means when a person becomes very thin, then it is called emaciation, right? There is numbness of feet, there is burning or tingling sensation, there is foot drop. So ultimately this is a central nervous system disorder, and this is called beriberi, that took place because of the consumption of polished rice, because the covering, the husk actually had thiamine which was removed. So this is still a problem in places where there is where the diet is high in carbohydrates. So we know that rice gives us carbohydrates, so in places where there is more carbohydrate consumption, this is still a problem. And there is another syndrome which is called Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, which is seen mainly in alcoholic and narcotic taking people. So those who drink more and those who take drugs also have this problem. So Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome is a syndrome where the body becomes tired, becomes weak, where there is not more antioxidants present in body, so there is oxidation, they age very fast, right? So Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome happens in alcoholic people and narcotics, because the alcoholic content and the narcotic content interferes with the vitamin B1 production. So therefore this disease is observed in alcoholic and narcotic taking people also. So this is about vitamin B1. We are not actually going to go deep into functions and dietary intake for now. For now we'll understand a bit history of it and a bit function of it, and then we will have a table in which you can understand how these vitamins are having its function and deficiency all related, right? So let us move towards vitamin B2 riboflavin. This helps in formation of flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide, and both of these are actually coenzymes, right? So both of these are coenzymes, and I already explained that what is coenzymes. Coenzymes enhance the action of an enzyme, so it helps the enzyme so that the reaction can proceed, right? And these are actually non-protein molecules which help the enzymatic protein molecule, right? So vitamin B2 helps in the formation of these two coenzymes. This combines with various proteins to form flavoprotein enzyme acting as hydrogen carriers. So vitamin B2 actually combines with various proteins to form flavoprotein enzymes, and these enzymes act as hydrogen carriers. So what actually happens is that riboflavin is the precursor of flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide. So flavin mononucleotide is nothing but FMN, and flavin adenine dinucleotide is nothing but FAD. So I think now you can relate or recall the reactions, maybe in respiration, maybe in cellular respiration. You must have seen these kind of words being used, like FAD plus, right? So these are coenzymes, and these are very important for the reaction to proceed, right? So in cellular respiration also these coenzymes are used. So riboflavin is a precursor to flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide. And as I told, what is a precursor? Precursor is a compound that produces another compound. So riboflavin is a compound that produces flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide. How this happens? Riboflavin, it combines with ATP to form riboflavin 5-phosphate. Now this riboflavin 5-phosphate is nothing but flavin mononucleotide. So the another name of riboflavin 5-phosphate is flavin mononucleotide. Now this riboflavin 5-phosphate will combine with ATP again to form flavin adenine dinucleotide, which is FAD. So in this way FAD is formed, and this FAD then goes into various reactions as coenzymes to help the enzymes. Now vitamin B2 also helps in breakdown of proteins, fats and carbohydrates. So this is not only for vitamin B2, but this is for all the vitamin B that are included in vitamin B complex. All the vitamin B complex helps in breakdown of protein, fats and carbohydrate. So these are ultimately associated with the process of this breakdown of fats, proteins and carbohydrates, and therefore these one vitamin will not do. You will have to have all of this vitamin B that are present in vitamin B complexes. So all the baked items having yeast, your leafy vegetables, your fruits like winter squashes, apples, banana, all the cereals and like soya bean and peanuts etc. are the sources of vitamin B2. though the deficiency is widespread, that means that you can see the deficiency all over the world, but the deficiency is not fatal, that is the deficiency is not going to cause death of a person. In fact, there is no clear characteristic riboflavin deficiency. So as we saw that there is in some vitamin deficiency there is beriberi, right? In some vitamin deficiency there is loss of eye vision, but in B2 vitamin there is no clear characteristic riboflavin disease. Now we move towards the understanding of vitamin B3 or niacin, which is also called nicotinic acid. This has similar action like vitamin B2. So what vitamin B2 was doing? It is associated with the production of coenzyme. Similarly, vitamin B3 is also associated with production of coenzyme. So vitamin B3 helps in the formation of nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. Now again, these two are coenzymes. Right, these are coenzymes, these are substances that helps enzyme, right? So niacin is a precursor of nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, which is also called NAD, and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, which is also called NADP. Now I am very sure that you must have also come across these terms that are used in some of the reactions. So NAD and NADP are coenzymes that are used in many cellular reactions, right? So niacin is a precursor, that is niacin leads to the formation of these two, and actually niacin is formed from tryptophan. Tryptophan is an enzyme, we know that. So niacin is formed from tryptophan. So as such there is no niacin deficiency, but deficiency will only arise when tryptophan formation is disturbed. So if tryptophan is not formed properly, then you will have niacin deficiency, because if tryptophan is not there, the niacin will not be formed, and this will ultimately hinder the process, right? So actually niacin is obtained properly if you take dietary intake, but if tryptophan enzyme is not there, if tryptophan amino acid is not there, then this will lead to niacin deficiency. So this leads to a disease called pellagra. So pellagra was seen in central Spain, discovered first in central Spain in 1735. The condition observed was different from scurvy and other similar dermatitis. Scurvy is a disease that leads to skin problems, and this is because of vitamin C, and dermatitis is a common term used for skin diseases, right? So in pellagra, conditions were observed which were different from scurvy and similar dermatitis. So pellagra is basically obtained from, when we split the word, we get pele means skin and agra means rough. So the name is basically given due to rough and sunburn like appearance of skin. So the skin becomes actually rough and it looks sunburned. So that is pellagra. And this actually was also observed in northern parts of Africa, where maize was introduced as a convenient diet, but maize was not good in niacin. So since maize was introduced as a convenient diet in Europe, and this was a poor diet, and therefore this led to development of pellagra like conditions in northern Europe and South Africa also, right? So eating alone maize is also not enough. You have to have all kind of things present in your diet. So this is basically pellagra. As you can see, this is the skin that is becoming rough. This gets the look like sunburn. Now we move towards vitamin B5, which is also called pantothenic acid. So this is obtained from a Greek word called pentos. Pentos means everywhere. So why is it given pentos word? Because vitamin B5 can be obtained from any kind of diet, may it be vegetables, may it be fruits, may it be dairy products, may it be milk, or may it be animal products. So you can obtain vitamin B5 from everywhere, and therefore the name has been given. This plays an important role in citric acid cycle. I suppose that you all know what is citric acid cycle, so not going deep into it. So we know that citric acid cycle is important, and therefore this B5 plays an important role in it. This was discovered by R.J. Williams in 1933. Now, vitamin B5 is used in the synthesis of coenzyme A. Coenzyme A is also called as CoA. Right? This is also a coenzyme. Right? Coenzyme is something that helps an enzyme. So this CoA is associated with fatty acid synthesis and degradation. So don't worry, the next video that you will be having, the next lecture that you will be having is fatty acid synthesis and degradation. So you will very properly understand there that how CoA is related to fatty acid synthesis and degradation. So for now you can remember that CoA is associated with fatty acid synthesis and degradation, and for the transfer of acetyl and acyl groups. And also it is associated with various catabolic and anabolic processes. Right, so this is how vitamin B5 is important in synthesis of coenzyme A. Deficiency is not known though. Why? Because it is obtained in all kind of dietary products. Now moving towards vitamin B6, which is also called pyridoxine. So a Hungarian physician, Paul György, discovered a substance that cured dermatitis acrodynia. This is a skin disease in rat, and then he named a substance which cured the dermatitis acrodynia as vitamin B6. Dermatitis acrodynia is a skin disease that happened in rat, right? So the main functions of vitamin B6 is that it participates in amino acids metabolism. So we know that amino acids lead to the formation of protein, and when we break down protein we get amino acids. So amino acid metabolism is very important for our body, since proteins are very important for our body. So it is important in developing a healthy brain. And vitamin B6 is known to be associated with creation of RBC and neurotransmitters. So RBC is red blood cells, which are important for our blood, and neurotransmitters are chemical messenger that transmit message from a nerve cell across the synapses to a target cell. So what is the work of neurotransmitter? To transmit message from one nerve cell to the target cell, right? So this actually controls your moods and emotions. So you know what happens, actually this neurotransmitters and your brain is so much related. So what you think, that gets transmitted, and that emotion you get, right? So if you feel happy, then that gets transmitted from one nerve cell to the target cell and you become happy. If your mind keeps on thinking something that is sad, then the emotion that you will get is sad. That is because of neurotransmitters, and vitamin B6 is thought to be playing role in this, right? So now we move towards vitamin B7, which is also called biotin, also known as vitamin H. Now see, as I told that in the water soluble vitamins there is A, D, E and K, but after E there was also vitamin H present. but later on that vitamin H was kept in, at that time it was kept in fat soluble vitamin, but later on it was found that vitamin H is nothing but the vitamin B7 itself, and therefore the vitamin H was removed from fat soluble vitamin and it was kept here in the water soluble vitamin, and therefore this is also known as vitamin H or biotin. Now here H represents hair and hot, which means hair and skin. So vitamin B7 is actually important for your health of hair, skin and nails, and therefore the name. So primarily vitamin B7 was considered as a part of complex bios. Now what is complex bios? Like this is also a group of vitamin, like vitamin B complex. This is also bios complex. Bios complex is also a group of vitamin which promotes the growth of yeast, and vitamin B7 was considered as the part of this vitamin bios complex, and it was identified as vitamin H because it had a protective factor in egg white injury. Now what is egg white injury? When you take too much of uncooked raw egg white in your diet, right, this leads to the formation of more avidin. Not formation, actually uncooked egg white has a substance called avidin, right? So avidin is a biotin binding protein. We know that biotin is vitamin B7 and it is important for us, but when you eat so much of uncooked egg white, avidin in the egg white will combine with biotin, will bind with biotin, and therefore the biotin will become unavailable for us. Biotin that we need for all processes becomes unavailable for us, and this is called egg white injury because you do not get biotin, and this is called egg white injury. This is used to metabolize carbohydrates, fats and amino acids, right? So as I told, not only B7 but all vitamin B is associated with metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Vital for normal growth of fetuses. So for the growing fetus, this vitamin B7 is important, and it is needed for maintenance of good hair, skin and nails. So if you want your hair to be good, your skin to be good, your nails to be good, you have to have vitamin B7. So this also has central importance in lipogenesis. What is lipogenesis? Lipogenesis is the pathway that result in generation of glucose. Lipogenesis is the process by which acetyl-CoA is converted to triglyceride for storage in fat. So lipogenesis is basically a process by which your excess fat that is there has to get stored in your body. So that is lipogenesis process. Gluconeogenesis, it also plays a role in this. So gluconeogenesis is a pathway that result in generation of glucose from non-carbohydrate carbon substrate. So we know that carbohydrate substrate leads to formation of glucose, but gluconeogenesis is a process where you will get formation of glucose from fatty acids and proteins which are non-carbohydrate, right? So it has a role in this, and it also has role in catabolism of branched chain and other amino acids. So clinical signs is extremely rare in human beings for biotin. Now we move towards vitamin B9, which is also called folic acid, and together itself we'll understand vitamin B12, which is cobalamines, because both the vitamins are metabolically and closely related. Both of these vitamins are closely related. Both of these vitamins have many functions that are same. So both of these vitamin function in one carbon transfer in many reactions. So in reactions where one carbon has to be transferred, in such reactions vitamin B9 as well as vitamin B12 play a role. Aids in production of DNA and RNA. Right, so vitamin B9 works in the production of DNA and RNA, which is our hereditary material. So we know that how much important is it for us. This is important when cells and tissues are growing, especially when it is the stage of infancy, adolescence and pregnancy. So we know pregnancy is a stage where a new baby is going to grow. Adolescence is when you are in a stage of where you are becoming from a kid to a matured, right? Then infancy is like the when you are a kid, and it is the stage where the stage of maybe 2 or 3 years and you are growing, right? So all of these are growing stages, and during such stages it is important for the growth of cells and tissue that you take vitamin B9. And with vitamin B12, vitamin B9 helps in making red blood cells, and it helps in iron work properly. So we know that red blood cells and iron both are important for us. So this takes place with the help of B12. Now B12 is a cobalt containing molecule, and therefore it is called cobalamines. So this is basically a vitamin that has cobalt and therefore called cobalamines, right? So vitamin like that, it is called cobalamines. So B12 is a cobalt containing molecule essential in DNA synthesis, and as we saw in B9 also, it is associated with production of DNA and RNA. Now B12 causes pernicious anemia. We will understand what is pernicious anemia in the next slide. Now, and B9 with B9, B12 and B6, these three B complexes together control the blood levels of the amino acid homocysteine. Now what is homocysteine and how it affects our body, that also we will understand in the next slide. Because higher the level of homocysteine, this can lead to heart disease. So it is very important that the homocysteine amino acid in our body has to be controlled, and this is done by B12, B9 and B6. Now strict vegetarians can develop vitamin B12 deficiency because vitamin B12 is not present in vegetables. Vegetables lack it, and therefore vegetarians can develop B12 deficiency unless and until they take some fortified food or they take B12 tablets, right? So now let us okay, so as both of these have similar functions, so deficiency of both have also similar effects. Now we move towards the understanding of what is homocysteine. Homocysteine is basically an amino acid which is homologous of cysteine. We know cysteine is an amino acid, so this looks like cysteine and therefore called homocysteine. So when there is an increased level of homocysteine in your body, it will damage your arterial linings. Now we know our heart has arteries, right? Arteries are like pipes that carry oxygen rich blood. So when we will have damage to the arterial lining, it is not good. So there would be accumulation of fatty substances. So fatty substances will start accumulating in your arterial linings. Immune cells reach the site and cause inflammation. Now see what happens. This is natural. When there would be damage in your arterial lining, in any place when you will have damage, when you will have injury, the immune cells will rush there because they reach the site to protect, and therefore they cause inflammation there. So you will feel warm over that place, right? So as there will be damage in the arterial lining, the immune cells will rush there and they will cause inflammation, right? And the arterial cells will proliferate, and the cells of arteries will proliferate to heal the lesion. So जो कट बना है उसको heal करने के लिए arterial cells और proliferate होंगे, leading to plaque, right? So plaque is basically a deposit of any kind of material. It could be cholesterol, it could be fatty substance, it could be waste product, it could be calcium, it could be fibrin, right? So in this case the plaque is of blood clot, right? See what is happening, that since there is damage, there is lesion, so the arterial cells will proliferate, leading to plaque, and this plaque is a deposit, is a blood clot type thing, and this will make your arterial line thicken. So the artery will become narrow, and this increases your risk, this damages your blood flow, and this increases your risk of heart disease. And when there are blood clots, this will choke your artery, actually leading to heart disease. So when your vitamin B6, B9, B12 level together go down, then homocysteine level is going to increase, and this will lead to heart disease, right? And now let us understand pernicious anemia. So there are certain intrinsic factors which are important for absorption of vitamin B12. So when vitamin B12 has to be absorbed in body, we require certain intrinsic factors, right? But when there is deficiency of these intrinsic factors, for some reasons when these intrinsic factors are not formed, then there is malabsorption of vitamin B12. That is, the vitamin B12 is not getting absorbed. So when vitamin B12 does not get absorbed, this is actually called pernicious anemia. So the point is that vitamin B12 is present, but it is not getting absorbed. Why it is not getting absorbed? Because intrinsic factors are missing, and when these factors are missing, this is leading to malabsorption or faulty absorption of vitamin B12, which is called pernicious anemia. So pernicious is basically a term given to something that has harmful effects. So this is a harmful anemia, and therefore it is called pernicious anemia, which is attributed to the deficiency of intrinsic factors that leads to the malabsorption of vitamin B12, right? So now with this we have completed our vitamin B complexes. So okay, let me do one thing. Let me take a highlighter. Okay, so as I told, vitamin B complex, we saw that there is vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9 and B12. These are total 8 vitamin B, right? And these are the names: thiamine for B1, riboflavin for B2, B3 niacin nicotinic acid, B5 pantothenic acid, B6 pyridoxine, B7 biotin, B9 folate or folic acid, B12 cobalamins, right? So these are basically compounds that are present, and this compound is called given the name, for example vitamin B2 or B3, based on its sequence of discovery, right? So you have to remember these two things. Now see sources. As you can see, many sources are common. You can memorize, you can remember the sources in this way, that if you see milk, liver, or kidney, meat and fish, right? Here also milk, egg, organ meat, liver and kidney, right? And here also you can see organ meat, liver, egg. Similarly leafy vegetables, green vegetables, these all are repeating. Here also green vegetables, meat, right? Dairy products. Similarly here milk, egg, organ meat, kidney, liver, fish, right? And likewise here also egg yolk, meat, milk, fish, right? All of these are repeating. So if you see these things, there are leafy vegetables, there are dairy products. In all of these vitamins you can see that there are animal sources also and there are vegetable sources also. So there are certain things that are constantly repeating. These are milk, eggs, organ meat. Organ meat means meat of particular organ, for example liver or kidney, right? So these provide more nutrients. So these are constantly repeating, so you can remember this way. And also you can always write fortified food in sources, because fortified foods are food that already have minerals present. For example, fortified atta, fortified rice, they have all the vitamins being added already. So you can always write fortified food in all of the sources, in all of the vitamins, right? Then there are some where you have to write fruits, some where there are nuts, your nuts like almonds and walnuts. These all are nuts, right? So that can be written. Then whole grain bread, bread also many cases it is repeating, so you can check where it is, and like that you can remember. Only one thing, that vitamin D12 is the place where there is no plant product, you can see. And we had seen that vitamin B12 deficiency can develop in vegetarian people because they do not take animal product, right? So here you can only write animal product. Rest there are animal products also and vegetable products also, and some of these are constantly repeating, right? So this you can maybe remember in this way. And then functions, we have already understood. Vitamin B1 necessary for proper growth, carbohydrate metabolism, right? Deficiency can lead to beriberi. Polyneuritis is a disorder where which affects the peripheral nervous system. So when your nervous system is affected, it is called polyneuritis, right? Then vitamin B2 can lead to formation of FMN and FAD, right, which are coenzymes. And as I told, deficiency though is widespread, but there is no clear characteristic. But there could be dermatitis, glossitis. Glossitis means inflammation of tongue. When you have inflammation in tongue, it is called glossitis, right? And dermatitis is the skin disease, right? So this is a little different thing, glossitis. Then in vitamin B3 we have its role is same as B2 in formation of NAD and NADP. Then here there is one disease, that is pellagra. In vitamin B1 there was beriberi that we saw, right? Here also there is polyneuritis. In B1 also there is polyneuritis, mental disorder. Then vitamin B5 we have pantothenic acid, where there is synthesis of coenzyme A. We saw that for fatty acid and synthesis and degradation. So as it is present in every diet, it is deficiency is rare, but you can see insomnia, irritability, stomach pain and all, but those are the common things. Vitamin B6 is essential for proper metabolism of amino acids. We saw that. So this can lead to glossitis. Glossitis is inflammation of tongue. Chelosis is what can we say, condition when the corners of your mouth actually crack, or the lips, or your lips can crack. That is called chelosis. Then there could be anemia and dermatitis. Vitamin B7 is vital for normal growth of fetuses, that we saw, and it is important for health of skin, hair and nails, right? So the deficiency could be, since it is good for skin, hair and nails, we can have hair loss, skin issues, dryness of eyes and all. So if you know the function, you can very easily tell the deficiency disorder, except for some where you have to remember the disease that happens because of the vitamin deficiency. Then vitamin B9 helps in synthesis of DNA and production of red blood cells. Vitamin B12 also helps in DNA synthesis and production of red blood cells. This anemia actually I had to write in deficiency disorder. It's by mistake here. So this vitamin B12 has pernicious anemia, and vitamin B9 can have increased risk of heart disease that we saw. So when there is heart disease, there could be shortness of breath, there could be heart palpitations, right? And it could also have sometimes anemia because B12 and B9 have same effects, right? So in this way you can remember these things. I think if you know the functions, if you have understood the functions, then you can very easily write down the deficiency also. And the daily requirement for B1 is 1.2 to 1.3 mg. So you will see that most of these vitamins, they have a very very small quantity daily requirement that we need. Only in vitamin B7 actually there is no recommended dietary allowance given by any standard institute, but since some researches have shown that 30 mg is good. So only you can remember that, see, all of these vitamins, they have from 1 to maybe 7 or 6 mg. Some are to very minor, like 0.1 to 0.3 for vitamin B6, 0.2 to 1 for vitamin B12. Only vitamin B9 you can say that it is 100 to 400 mg. And see, this is actually covering everything, like from kids to adults and even women, and all the at times of pregnancy and lactation. So the highest mg is when there is pregnancy and lactation. At that time the requirement is highest, right? And the rest normal people can have the minimum quantity, right? So this is how I think you can remember everything. Okay, coming back to my pointer. So I hope that this is clear with you, right? Now we move towards the understanding of vitamin C, which is our last vitamin to understand. So this is also known as ascorbic acid. So in ancient Egypt, this has been described in Aber's papyrus, right? So what is Aber's papyrus? Aber's papyrus is the medical book of Egypt, right? And this is written by George Abers and hence named. So in this book there has been mentioned that during at that time there were ship voyages. There were people who used to travel in ship, and it was observed that during that time, during traveling, 90% crew members used to die in long voyages because the journey was so long. They were not getting enough diet, and most of these 90% died, and the disease was named as scurvy, where you will have weakness, feeling tired, bleeding from skin. So you will have itching in your skin. There could be gummosis. Your teeth, gums will start bleeding. So that is scurvy, and it was observed in most of the crew members in the ship, right? And because in long voyages they did not used to take enough diet which had vitamin C, this led to scurvy. So this is actually a French word called scorbut. Scorbut means detachment of skin epidermis. So your skin epidermis starts detaching, gets removed. That was called scorbut in French word. So the function of vitamin C is the maintains the structure of collagen. So collagen is your protein that is needed for your skin to be tight, for your skin to be good, right? So collagen is very important protein for your skin, and when you have vitamin C deficiency, you will have not proper formation of collagen, and this can lead to skin diseases. This enhances iron absorption, and it is a strong reducing agent. People, reducing agent is like antioxidant, right? What an antioxidant does, antioxidant actually donates an electron, and thus it works like a reducing agent. So vitamin C is known to be a very good antioxidant also, right? So this is a strong reducing agent, and this is called, the vitamin C is called anti-scorbutic because it was identified as an anti-scurvy factor. Anti-scorbutic means anti-detachment of skin epidermis. It stops that, and therefore it was called anti-scorbutic, and this is identified as an anti-scurvy factor in 1932. Now, the vitamin C deficiency can lead to reduced immune responses. So, your immunity can become low. If your immunity becomes low, then it is obvious that there will be more susceptibility to diseases. So, you better the immunity you have, better the fight for the disease. And if there is vitamin C excess, this can cause gout, right? So gout is like a severe form of arthritis actually, and there is severe pain and tenderness in joints. Excess can lead to lesser calcium retention and increased vitamin dependence. See, this is not only for vitamin C, this is for any kind of product. Anything of excess is not good. So if you start taking excess, if you give your body that thing in excess, your body will get dependent on that thing, and then you cannot leave it. So may it be tea, may it be drugs, may it be alcohol, may it be vitamins or any medicines. When you take continuously in long doses, your body cannot work with less doses. So this increases your vitamin dependence. So this is very important that you need to take it, but not in excess, right? So recommended dietary daily intake is 40 mg. Sources, you all already know that all the all the citrus fruits, right, can give you vitamin C. All your oranges, lemons, the amlas can give you vitamin C. And this is actually gout. As I told, gout is a painful arthritis. There is redness, there is tenderness in joints. So basically what happens, that uric acid accumulation takes place here. So you have swollen and inflamed joints, right? And therefore this is actually very painful also. So this is it about vitamins. This was a long lecture, I know, but I hope that you would be very clear with vitamins. Now one very last thing that I want to tell you, I want to show you. See, this is a multivitamin tablet available in market. So this is basically a zinc tablet called Zinco Heal, but this tablet also has multivitamins, all the vitamins. It also has multiminerals, and it also has antioxidants. So if you see the list of the vitamins present on the back of this tablet, you will see there is vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B12, C, D3, right, E, and biotin, B7, folic acid, B9, all the minerals, right? And so actually I kept this because in this COVID times also, the medication recommends vitamins very sincerely, right? You have those, I don't know, but those who have gone through COVID, or those who if know the medications of COVID-19 include vitamins along with vitamin C. So when you go to take vitamin, you may have vitamin C separately, but you can also get multivitamin tablets, and these are in, if you can also see the mg here, vitamin C is 40 mg, B12 is 1 mcg. So all the required servings has been kept here, and this is very important for COVID-19 because vitamins make your body regulate all the reactions, right? So when the regulation will be proper, you will heal fast. So especially this tablet actually I was also eating, so I can relate it very much to what the lecture is related to. So I hope that by now you are clear with what are vitamins and how it can be obtained from diets, and how you can obtain it from fortified food also, and how you can obtain it from this kind of vitamin supplements also. Already all these are available in market, right? So with this we come to the end of the session. I hope that you all are clear with it. If you have any doubt, you can very freely ask me. I'll be back with next lecture. Till then, please go through this and clear your doubts. And okay, and if you think that you are getting knowledge from what I am teaching, please subscribe to my channel Nani Soch. So subscribe to my channel Fernful Life, so that it will motivate me to teach you more. Thank you.